بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف خلق الله سيدنا محمد ابن عبد الله. Dear brothers and sisters and all audience, today I am going to talk about the assessment and evaluation of people for job fits and career development. That's me back in the Mind Lab conference this year in Denver, Colorado. I want to introduce to you the fact that because people are different, they do different things, they think differently, they like different things. So in what we call the life circle, their position in that circle is different. Where they lie in this circle, as you see the circle, will tell us what type of people they are, will tell us what they prefer to do, will tell us how they behave, and will help us from that knowledge how we can deal best with them. Just to let you know about the main differences of the different people in where they are in this life, circle of life. This is a picture that summarizes the characters of the people. So I have a circle that says the DiSC circle, where each of the 4 letters represents a different type. The D represents what we call dominance. These people are direct, they are result-oriented, they are firm, they are strong-willed, and they are very forceful. Then we go to the right for the I, which is the influencing people, where these people are outgoing, highly enthusiastic, very optimistic, highly spirited, and lively. As we go down the circle clockwise, we go with the people who are characterized as steadiness. They are very patient, even-tempered, quite accommodating, humble, and tactful. And then the last one we have the C, which represents the people who are conscientious, analytical, very reserved, precise, private, and systematic. If you go in this circle and look to the top, where you combine the D and I, we can say the D and I are the outspoken people and the fast-paced people. And if you go again clockwise to the IS people, we say that these people are accepting and quite warm. And then the SC people are the cautious and the reflective people. And we complete the circle by the CD and say that these people are always questioning and skeptical. I know it's hard to read, but it explains the main characters of each of these people depending where they lie in the circle. The point that represents them in the circle will tell us 4 main things. Number 1, what are their priorities in life? Number 2, what motivates them and what encourages them. Number three, what are they afraid of or they fear, they don't like. And when you are with them, when you talk to them, when you deal with them, what are the things that you notice mainly about them in terms of their characters and behavior? And finally, nobody is perfect, and because of that, everyone has limitations. What are the limitations? So this slide describes in more details than the previous one each of these 5 behavioral characters or features, we can say, of each of the 4 different types in the circle. If we go to the next slide and choose a character that many people would love to be, it's to be called a leader. In our human resources dictionary, a leader is not necessarily a manager. A leader does not have to have people reporting to him or working for him. A leader has many characters, of which are good, and many people love to have them, and many people love to follow leaders. So where are you as a person in this leadership style? This circle describes what kind of leadership you have. If you are a DI, you are a commanding leader, pioneering leader, and energizing leader. If you are an IS, then you are an energizing leader, affirming leader, and inclusive leader. If you are an SC, then you are an inclusive leader, humble leader, and deliberate leader. And if you are a CD leader, then you are a deliberate leader, resolute leader, and a commanding leader. We always advise people not to jump to conclusions. So if you want to be a good leader, then you go up the ladder step by step. We call the judging to valuing ladder. You judge first, you try to understand, you respect what the others are saying or doing, you also appreciate that, and then you value. So you go from judging to valuing. Life is not simple. Wherever you are, wherever you go, if you are with other people and you say things and they say things, you behave and they behave, you act and they act, there will always exist what we call conflict. So this slide will tell us how we can deal in conflict, or how we can deal with conflict. If you are a DiSC type, you maintain dignity, you reject vulnerability, and you ruminate on the logic, on your logic, of course. If you are an IS type, then what you say, you initiate reconciliation, and you show vulnerability, and you want to make sure that you have good relationship, so you worry about the relationship. Many people say, why are we doing what we call assessment? Why do we do psychometric testing? Why do we do people evaluation Isn't it enough that I already have my CV and resume and it shows my certificates, it shows my experience? Why don't they just go ahead and employ me based on that? And what's the advantage of having psychometric tests and evaluation? Slide number 9 showed Harvard Business Review, which says that if you do the assessment, then you have superior products or results for job fits for people. Why? Because it can deal with the mental demands of the position. You will be comfortable with the demands of the environment and the people they must work with, and you enjoy the work and you are motivated by that, by doing it. If you love your job, you will do it much better, definitely. So again, we go on with the answering the questions. Why psychometric? What's the challenge in that? Slide number 10 shows that knowledge and skills are the outer shell of what people know about others by reading their CV or resumes. And then you want to go deeper in that. You want to know other than the surface values, as we say. The surface is easy, okay? You want to know the personality. You want to know the attitude of the people. You want to know the values, the self-concept, which is the personality. But what's the hardest thing to really evaluate is the deep motives. It's inside the person, what his real intentions or her intentions are. What do they really like? What makes them happy? So psychometrics and assessment help us in doing that. So this slide shows the importance and what it helps. It's like looking at a needle in a haystack. The surface is like the iceberg, does not constitute more than 15-20% of the total picture. And what's hidden is under the water are what is measured by the psychometric test and the assessment, mainly 3 things: the thinking style, the behavioral traits, and the occupational interests. Part of what we have for the thinking style, okay, is what to actually do we measure. This picture illustrates the fact that people are different and how they learn and how they reason and how they solve problems. It shows 2 gallons, so the amount of water is the same, but the container on the left, in order to fill it, you may need to take 10 minutes because of its shape, because of how it accepts the water to get inside it. While the container on the right, you may be able to fill it in less than a minute. So the total knowledge or the total whatever it is that you want to put inside is the same, but the receptives, the person, the man or the woman, are different on how fast they can cope up with the learning and the reasoning and the logic and the problem solving. This is one of the advantages of having the psychometric tests. So we have scales, and then we have, from this scale, we see what are the thinking style in terms of the learning index, as I just clearly indicated. which is a combination of your verbal skills and your verbal reasoning, your numerical ability, your logic, your analytical skills, and how you think about problems. And the second part is what we call the behavioral traits and the characters, your energy, how assertive you are, your sociability, how you make decisions, how you make judgment, are you independent, are you accommodating, how you make decisions. And the last one contributes to the fact that people, if they are interested and if they like the job, they will definitely do a much better job. So the next slide shows a range of the best people, or the sample of people who fit a certain job best. And if you, as a person, take the assessment tests, assessment questionnaires, if you fall in the range that is shown there in color, it means that you fit the job. If it is lower, it means you need more development. If it's higher, you are overqualified. And the last one, of course, because it's people are different in their interests, will show what type of job families you like. And in each job, the top job families that fit the job, if you are there in that range, you will definitely have a much higher fit for the job. So actually, in real life, there is no what we call in terms of job fit. There is no bad person or good person. It's only a bad fit or a good fit, or you don't fit the organization. The final slides that I have here for you is just to show that people cannot do things alone. Teamwork is very encourageable, and when people cooperate together, they do things much better. So this triangle shows that if you have these 5 behaviors in the team, we call these 5 behaviors from the framework of the cohesive teams, you will definitely get out outputs that are much better and with higher quality. The main thing is, number 1, trust. Number 2, accepting the fact that we have conflicts. Number 3, that each of us is committed to do what he can do best. Number 3, once you are committed, you are accountable and you will be judged for your outputs and doing, then you will get the best results. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good day from DMK.